Welcome to my August edition of my newsletter, and I just wanted to discuss with you very briefly what makes these tour professionals strike the ball so beautifully and the traits and similarities that they have as they approach impact and collect the ball time and time again. Now if we just look at both Woods and Donald, top right hand corner and main left image, what we can see is I've paused both these guys at the top of their backswings, and what I want you to note is the first move in the downswing from a down the line perspective, which is this camera view here. And what you can see is there is a shift in the hips to turn towards the target. Now whilst that is happening, the arms are just playing a very small role in the downswing. They're just going along for the ride. They're not being pulled down in any way. The hips are clearing, and you'll note here that the delivery line of the shaft is aligned on a wonderful plane down toward the golf ball. If you look at Woods in the same image, you'll note that in exactly the same way, the shaft is aligned more or less down to the golf ball. So there are some similarities. They both swing the club very differently, but as the club is approaching impact, there are some things that are very, very similar. Now, what you'll see is the chest. I know it's very difficult to see from this angle. The chest is actually looking in a closed position in both instances here, yet the hips are actually looking out in front of the golf ball. So the chest is looking to the right of the ball as the player is looking at the golf ball, and the hips are turning to the left of it. So you'll now note a delay in how the club is coming down, and you'll see here in both cases that as the hips are clearing, the club head is left behind the body, and this creates a wonderful slingshot action. So you'll see here as Donald approaches impact, you'll note that the shoulders relatively square and the hips are open. You'll note with Tiger, once again two very different golf swings, but once again you'll see the shoulders are relatively square or parallel to the ball to target line, and the hips are open. Now the role of the shoulders is very simple. It controls the path of a golf club. So in essence, if we want to swing the club very neutrally, we will, in an ideal world, hope for squarish shoulders. Now, of course, this is in an ideal world. There are guys that swing the club with a very open chest and guys that hit the golf ball with a very closed chest, and they can all get very good results. But from a swing model perspective, we can keep the chest as quiet as possible through impact and get the hips very busy, get the hips clearing, and we are on the way to success in terms of a sequence perspective. Now, if we look at McIlroy from the front, what you'll see is what a movement that allows this to happen. And if I just draw a little line up from the ground here, you'll see that as he reaches the top of his backswing, the first move is a lateral bunt of the hip. You'll see that the pressure is going underneath his left foot here. So the left foot is, if he was standing on a set of scales, the scale underneath the left foot, the needle on the scales would be turning or be increasing rapidly here as the left side is loading. And look where the hip goes now. It's aligned brilliantly over the left ankle. So now the left side is loaded and ready. And you can see already in this instance that the belt buckle has already started to turn out in front of the golf ball, and the chest is behind. So there is a disassociation between the hips and the shoulders. What you don't really want is the hips and the shoulders spinning at the same time. And I would recommend, if this is something you struggle with, get yourself down to the gym or just find a fitness specialist and get them to educate you in how to disassociate the hips and the shoulders. It doesn't mean you need to lift lots of weights. There are some simple exercises that can do this for you, but this will all help you to sequence and time the downswing correctly. But in layman's terms, as the ball is struck, the hips are open, the shoulders are relatively square, chest looks at the ball, hips look to the target, and in all of these cases there are some wonderful similarities despite the club being swung very differently for each player. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this very small insight into what makes the downswing so efficient and effective, and if you need any further information on this or any clarification, then just feel free to send me an email, garethjohnston_PGA@hotmail.co.uk, or alternatively visit my website, garethjohnstongolf.com. Thank you for watching.